everybody's talking about The Crash documentary on Netflix. I finally caught up with it, and I get it. I get the fuss. But again, people cannot direct their anger. I guess there's multiple directions for anger. It's at her, it's the parents, and some people, Netflix, think that the whole thing's irresponsible, that it wasn't balanced, it wasn't covered the right way. Already a comment from Jackie. It starts with narcissistic parents pissed at Netflix for giving them what they want, fame. Yeah, apparently, according in the comment section, I saw it a second ago. The father was, Joy, beloved Joy, says her father was put on leave from his position because of the things he said in an interview with TMZ. They are loving this, it seems, right? Too much relishing in the murder of, and I've concluded too. I mean, I don't know who else is out there saying it was anything else, but she was a spoiled girl who murdered her boyfriend by driving her car directly into a wall. Okay, The Crash, for those who don't know, let's get the family caught up here. July 31st, 2022 was when look at that car. That car, if you're looking at the screen, is absolutely mangled. This girl, Kenzie Sharilla, was 17 at the time. Her boyfriend was 20, almost 21. His friend, Davion Flanagan, was in the back seat, 19. She was, it's unthinkable in the immediate aftermath that it was anything other than a terrible, terrible accident. Even the family of the boyfriend, Dom Russo, his family was so concerned. They lost their son and son's best friend, and that family was destroyed. But they were all concerned about Kenzie, right? I mean, she was the girlfriend, and she was driving, and the guilt she must feel, and they found it in their hearts to find sympathy and empathy for her and what she was going through. First indication, I don't know. She was given a choice between a bench trial and a jury trial after she was charged with murder. When the prosecutors looked at the evidence, it was overwhelming that this was not an accident. So Kenzie and her family chose to go with a bench trial. Just have the judge decide. No jury. Why not a jury? Well, she's now serving 2 15 to life terms concurrently for murder and aggravated vehicular homicide of her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, and his friend, Davion Flanagan. All the evidence shows there was a tremendous amount of obsession that she had with her boyfriend. She was also very insecure. I think, in the beginning of the relationship, he had been unfaithful, and she used that to absolutely cudgel him at every opportunity, and held it against him. And, there's lots of texts back and forth between the two saying, will you ever let this go? This happens in many relationships, but this is a 17-year-old girl. Netflix is being criticized for the fact that she, they have these friends who are participating in the Netflix doc who say she was, a person of great character. Just look her name up on TikTok. Not a person of great character, but then again, 17 years old, just a kid, totally entitled. She had a mean girl rep in high school, no question, and a history of violent outbursts. Here she is outside of her boyfriend's house. She was living with him. Now remember, my 17-year-old is not living with a 20-year-old. I'm to each his own, but she's not even 18 yet. She's not even an adult. But anyway, she has a history of absolutely terrorizing her boyfriend. Listen to this.
If you're actually in the house that I'm living every night, we are done.
I was disgusted, and I really think that.
Okay, she's outside the door. That was wrong clip there, but she was outside the door, and she's going, open that effing door right now, Dom. That's the house I sleep in every night. You open it now, you little bitch. And he's like, he's scared of her. He's on the other side of the door going, you know, I'm not going to let you in. Listen to what you're saying to me. And she's going off on him. Right now, open this door. This little she's got to be, you know, I'd say 90 pounds soaking wet. But, no pun intended, quite literally, hell on wheels. So she is going 100 miles an hour down a neighborhood street, straight through an intersection, and smashes into a commercial building across the way, across the lawn. Did she do it deliberately because Dom, her boyfriend, had repeatedly tried to break up with her? The evidence is there. Yes, she had weeks before threatened him while in the car. I will crash this car. She actually said that, and then 2 weeks later actually did it. Her mother, Natalie, was trying, during the trial, trying to push this POTS theory. POTS, I don't know what, it's a blood circulation disorder that causes dizziness. This is what she was trying to latch onto and said she had a momentary episode of POTS. And yet, in their bench trial, their lawyer, their two-bit lawyer, can't find one medical expert to corroborate this. So it's just the mom saying it. Did they try to find one? And if not, why not? Most likely because she first asked her mom, and this is crazy shit right here. When she's in the hospital bed after the crash, she asks her mom in Pig Latin, by the way. They have this little language between them. And you'll hear from the mom in a second. She could not be more annoying. But in Pig Latin, while being interviewed by the cops in the hospital, she says, if I could just, can I just say that I had a seizure? Like she's so, POTS is a second grasp. She was looking for any way out. Can I just say it like I had a seizure? Why don't you just say what you actually did? I got pissed. I'm an entitled little girl who got mad and I floored it and I was like, yeah, look what I'm going to do, you asshole. Look what I'm going to do. And she just couldn't control her little rage. And she ended up and by the way, so much so that she definitely put her own life at risk. I mean, she seemed to me willing to die herself. She went 100 miles an hour into a concrete wall. Whew. After trying to get out of it with the seizure, she asks the cop in the room, can't you just take my license away for like 10 years? Oh, sure. Let's suspend your license for 10 years. That'll certainly suffice for the murder of 2 young boys. Oh my God. So like I said, she was shown to be going 100 miles an hour with the gas pedal pressed down 100% of the way, right? She said she had a POTS episode, got dizzy and like blanked out for a minute. The pedal, when you pass out, your foot does not remain 100% depressed on the gas pedal, which prosecutors proved was the case. She was flooring it. And this is a road that had S-turns in it, and she was taking those S-turns. So, she could have been an NASCAR driver in another life. Her mom is very dishonest. She is a sycophantic, I don't know if she's trying to make up for bad parenting throughout her life, but she is a slave to her child. Can't stand women like this, right? Or fathers. But the mom does not blink in trying to help her daughter scheme her way out of this whole mess. She begs the judge for leniency for Kenzie, her daughter. I don't know. Should there be any? She was 17 years old. And the mom, again, she's either scared of her daughter or just, a total sycophant. Here's a call after the criminal trial. Kenzie's been in jail now for about 4 years. This is a call from prison between mom, Natalie, and daughter, Kenzie. The ass kissing is just detestable.
All the things you have been experiencing It's so much. So many highs and lows and ups and downs. A pillar of strength, my love.
Yeah, like, man, I'm gonna come home and just like, I don't even know.
Pillar of strength. You're going to be able to help so many more people than you already were. You know what I mean? Just because of your experiences.
I'm gonna be a life coach and stuff, and like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna be everything. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna be that, and I want to do like a ton of jobs like Miss Ken.
Yeah.
She does like hella hustles.
What she does?
Yes. You know what car she drives?
No.
A Mercedes coupe, and it's cute as fuck, and it's a convertible.
Oh my God, I can totally see that. Yeah, she's excited to work with you. And she should be, because you're awesome.
What do you hear in the mom's voice? A pillar of strength, my love. What do you hear in her voice? Here's what I hear. Guilt for just being a terrible parent and providing no guardrails for your child, zero guardrails, zero consequences for any actions that the kid take. This is a kid who drove around, oh my God, drove around in her car smoking weed and putting it all over TikTok. The father, by the way, sees no better. During his Netflix interview, and people are really pissed at Netflix, and we'll get to that. But during his interview, he's wearing a Boom t-shirt, a Batman Boom t-shirt. During an interview about his daughter, how tone deaf is this moron? His daughter driving into a wall, killing her boyfriend in a fit of rage, and his buddy in the back. And he wears a Boom t-shirt. This guy shrugs off everything. Does she smoke weed? Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about weed. Weed's not like alcohol. Alcohol's like really bad, and she smokes weed. And I'm like, do I smoke weed? I mean, if I smoke weed, who cares about that? Clearly, she learned to smoke weed from dad, who has, according to Joy Shmeha, been laid off from his position at work right now. Maybe the grift is too much. But, Netflix is, again, in on this. Final thing about the parents. 17-year-old daughter living with her 21-year-old boyfriend, making TikTok videos, smoking weed, driving around, ripping bong hits and all that. F. A parenting F. And again, like I said, Netflix is catching shit for playing up Kenzie's side of the whole thing. Featuring these friends like Rosie all throughout the documentary who testify to Kenzie's character. They support her all the way. Actually, most friends believe she did it. You didn't see a lot of them going, this girl was a mean girl. She definitely did it. She never reported that mom lied to the Russo family, saying Mackenzie was unconscious for 3 days right after the crash. This is an interesting one. Netflix never reported, ever, that Kenzie was unconscious for 3 days. It's unbelievable. The mom lied to the family of the boyfriend, saying Mackenzie was totally out of it for 3 days. So, we don't know what's going on. She's completely still unconscious. She was not. She was not at all. She was with it totally. But this is the mom's way of like, she's unconscious. I'm telling you that so you can't talk to her. We're still formulating our story. The ultimate story. We've ruled out seizures. We're going to go with POTS. We're trying to figure out our story. So she tells the others, you can't talk to her right now. She's unconscious. Netflix leaves that out. That's not a small detail. But ultimately, this is a story of what criminal justice looks like in the age of oversharing on social media. I mean, Gen Z spends over 3.5 hours a day online. That's twice the amount of boomers and half the amount of me. I'm just going to say it. I'm on their way too much. But Gen Z lives there. The prosecution absolutely hammered Kenzie Sharilla's TikToks after the crash. This is really disturbing. These are the videos she posts from her hospital bed, right? And they're totally performative. They're emotionally detached. She's wearing a gown, her cast is on. She's she's trying to garner sympathy, oh my God, look at her living this life on TikTok. Imagine being someone so addicted to public attention and an image of yourself that you can leapfrog the guilt, shame, and inner horror of having murdered somebody. Oh my God. She was soothed in her own pain, probably in her own shame and guilt over what she had done. She was soothed by this crowd of people who know nothing and just assemble and follow her. And that's her world. 3 months after the tragedy, after the death of these boys, she goes to a Halloween party. And she's fully in costume what's up? This is before being charged, a month before being charged, but 3 months after taking the lives of these two boys. It is a glimpse into a much larger, scarier phenomenon. What happens when an entire generation grows up online? Oh my God. And as we've seen in every true crime thing we've talked about, every case we've talked about, it's always the phone. You will get away with nothing. There is always a searchable emotional trail and data and geofencing and all that shit to back up everything you do. Your private life is anything but private. It's always the phone. You'll get away with nothing. Stop. The first appeal was denied, by the way. Her lawyers missed filing by 1 day. Oh, my God. How do you miss it by a day? You got 365 days to file an appeal, and you file it on 366? Oh, my God. I think they just know they're guilty. Why even go through it? But let's say we've tried to file our appeal. Let's have this thing thrown out on this technicality so we can say we tried to appeal, but we know it's a waste of time because she's guilty as shit, and I'm going to just continue talking to her and building her story and telling her she can be a life coach and all this crazy shit.